Hello guys, and welcome to the another lecture of chapter functions. This probably is the last lecture of level 1 of chapter functions that we would be discussing. So last lecture के अंदर हम लोगों ने sin inverse function और इसकी properties के बारे में पढ़ा था. This lecture is about the cos inverse and the tan inverse function. So inverse cosine function is cos inverse of x, looks like this in the graph. Its domain is from -1 to 1 and the range lies from 0 to pi. Again the same reason, क्योंकि ये cos का inverse function है, so the cos function's range has to be chosen such that the function should be a 1 and on to. So 0 से pi has been chosen as the range for that. So this is your cos inverse function. And if you have a look at the properties of cos inverse function, it's pretty similar to the sine inverse function. The logic why cos inverse of cos theta has these many values for different values of theta. So won't waste much time on this. It's just you can have a look at this particular thing. So as theta goes from minus pi to 0, this thing will go from pi to 0. So from minus pi to 0, the value is increasing from -1 to 1. So from pi to 0 also, the value is increasing from -1 to 1. So this increasing decreasing concept, as well as the value of this output should be in the domain of the function, sorry, the range of this function, that is from 0 to pi. These two things need to be taken care, then you will be able to get these values. And of course the cos of cos inverse x is directly equal to x. Similarly you have the tan inverse function. So if you put tan y equal to x, then y is equal to tan inverse x. This is how the graph looks like. Its domain goes from all real values, so it takes all the real values. You can see here x axis के ऊपर almost सारी values तक जाएगा ये, from -infinity to +infinity in x axis, but the y axis, that is the range, goes from -pi/2 to pi/2. Again, since this is a periodic function, so this particular range has been chosen for the tan inverse function. And this is the property of tan inverse function. You can again evaluate various values for tan inverse of tan theta for different values of theta, and tan of tan inverse x is equal to x. Last is the rational function. So if you have a function in p upon q form, where the numerator and denominator both can be written as a function of x, then you can assume that to be a rational function. आप numerator को px और denominator को q of x की तरह treat कर सकते हो, but the condition only here is that the q of x should not be equal to 0. So that would be the domain of this function. x की वो values जिनके लिए q of x 0 नहीं होता है, उनको छोड़ के हर real value के लिए ये function जो है valid रहेगा. And of course depending upon what are the px and qx expressions are. So that is what we have for the level 1 in chapter functions, and we'll continue discussing about limits, continuity and other calculus topics in the upcoming lectures. So stay tuned. Thank you so much.